my name's Katie, and I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when I was 20 years old. I'm 24 now. And it started out just with, blood in the stool, which was scary enough, but I didn't really think too much of it when I was 20. They told me that I'd have to go on sometimes now, but it was way too expensive. Even with health insurance, I couldn't afford it. It was like over $1,200 a month. And the side effects were really bad, and that's the only option that the gastrointestinal specialist gave me. Started thinking about my future more and realized that I could not continue on life like that, and that if I didn't make a change right then, that day, and put my health in my own hands and do whatever it took to heal, then I was going down a really scary path really quickly, and I just really couldn't imagine spending my whole life like that, especially, being with life ahead of me. And so that's really the point I was at when I contacted you. Mainly, like, the blood was the big thing for me. It was I had so much blood coming out. And I was scared to go back to the doctor because I knew that they had already told me that one option they had told me wasn't going to work for me. And that was an expensive visit in itself, even with health insurance. So I had all these things on my mind as far as, what are they going to tell me? This is going to cost me so much. Like, I don't want them to tell me I need surgery. I don't even want to see them at this point. Like, I'm terrified of going back to the doctor and finding out what they're going to tell me. So that was all very stressful. And that is around the time that I contacted you. And in 2 months, so I've had colitis for the last 4 years, 2 months of being dedicated to your healing plan, and I am feeling better than I have officially right now than before I was diagnosed with colitis.
Wow.
It's really, really incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
So when I first started out, it was definitely more difficult. I was thinking more about what I couldn't have than what I could have. Temptation seemed to be everywhere. My parents would be cooking bacon, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want that so bad. And just like things like that. Like, it was definitely harder at first, but then once I started noticing that I was feeling better, it just became easier and easier to do these routines and to do these supplements and to stick to this diet. And I think I realized what you meant by building momentum, because the better I felt, the more I wanted to do that's good for my body. And that's where, like, the ball really got once I started feeling better. But I noticed that I had a lot of die-off, which I was really glad I talked to you beforehand, because I did feel a little bit worse before I felt better. Another thing that really helped me was setting a goal for myself of when I wanted to feel better by. So my friends go on this big camping trip every summer, and I had been thinking about that all summer. Like, I want to feel good for that. I want to feel good for that. Like, I'm going to be in the woods. There's not going to be a bathroom around. I know I'm going to have to go in the woods at some point. Like, I want that to be as pleasant of an experience as possible, if that could ever be the case. So for me, that was my goal, and I gave myself that to look forward to, and I would think about how awesome I was going to feel during that weekend. And I'm super stoked because that weekend was just this past weekend, and I felt awesome for it. So, yeah, I think
the program that we talk about is, a lot of people are scared about this disease, and they're scared about shame. But you've done something great, and you built a lot of momentum that now your friends feed off you. They want you around. They want you to talk about food. They want you to talk about what's good to eat, because it makes them feel better. Everyone gets stomach aches. Everyone eats something they shouldn't eat every once in a while. Everyone wants to be better. So when you empower people to be better around you, that's the opportunity of adversity. You took something that was really difficult, and you faced it head on, and you've been owning it. And now it's making other parts of your life even better.
Absolutely.
And how cool is that?
I've had a lot of friends come up to me and say, hey, I've been dealing with this, and I usually send them to your website because
Yeah.
your ebook actually was the very first step that helped me. And that number one step about removing negativity and cultivating positivity, that was the number one step that got everything started for me.
Me too.
And I read that with a lot of weight since, I read all of your steps and I read them multiple times, and I was aware that you said you can do everything you want, but if you don't heal your mind first, then, you can only take so many supplements. And as soon as I started asking myself those questions, where can I remove the negativity and where can I add more positivity, the answers were just incredible. And I realized I had to remove myself from negative people in my life and negative situations and stressors, and I had to make all decisions with my health in mind and the most positive outcome of my health. I really started to notice how certain stressors made me feel and how much of an impact they really had on my gut. And then thinking back, like on the past year, I started to realize that the times that I felt the worst were when I was either like fighting with the guy I was with, or, had stress at work, or had stress with roommate situations, or unnecessary stress. And it started to click how much this disease really was triggered by stress like that in my life, and how I really needed to remove it if I were ever going to heal. So that's what I did, and that's what I've been doing ever since then too. And it's made me feel that much more confident in the decisions that I make and just in myself in general. In my health, definitely, I feel way better from it. But just even every decision I make, I know that I'm putting myself first and I'm putting my health in my best interest, and that really helps me make.
Just wanted to thank you for your belief in yourself, your belief in what I was saying, and taking someone like me who you didn't know too well and saying, I'm going to listen and I'm just going to try these things and have faith. And having faith, and you work hard, and then you created belief because you got real results, and that belief is the most powerful energy in the world, most powerful.
That's the momentum, absolutely.
And I think this energy is going to keep moving forward for you, and I want to help build that momentum in your life as much as possible. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So.
And I would just say, if there was one more thing that I would add, it would just
and anything you would like to say to anyone listening,
to be patient with yourself.
Okay.
Because there were a lot of times where I did feel like I wasn't making progress fast enough, and like I felt bad for having the temptation still, and I was creating all these new rules for myself, and I really just needed to be patient and understanding with myself and realize that habits take time to break and to reform. But as I made like positive progress my goal every day, and as long as I kept doing something in the right direction every single day, then I really started feeling better. So patience was a huge one.
Patience, yes, and self-forgiveness, and just starting over from a clean slate. It's like Legos, rebuild it. Just start from scratch and rebuild your day.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, thank you so much, Katie.